Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is a very rainy Wednesday morning, and in this video we are going to talk about Richard Allen and the Delphi case because a bunch of documents have come out. I'm going to summarise them. I'm not going to read all the documents word for word because this article has done a nice little summary, although we are going to refer to the documents and we are going to discuss it in relation to what the defence produced recently with that 136-page memorandum, which I read all of it, for hours and hours and hours on live streams. Go and check them out. Okay, so Prosecutor says Delphi murder suspect is safe, despite correctional officers possibly wearing Odinism patches. Do you remember this? The defence claimed that when they went to visit Richard Allen, there was two officers who were particularly attentive towards Richard, so much so that they followed him about with a handheld camera. And they wore patches such as these. In Odin we trust. This, which is a symbol of Odinism or Norse Heathenry. I hate people. I like that patch. I want that patch. The defence stated that these two officers were the ones who Richard was scared of, and Richard was concerned about his wife. And they state this: the first time that Richard's defence team noticed Sergeant Jones and Sergeant Robinson and the patches on their uniform was on April 3rd, 2023. It also coincides with the time frame that Richard Allen's mental health began a steep decline. From that point forward, these two guards, Robinson and Jones, seemed inseparable from Richard Allen. Odinite correctional officers Robinson and Jones would walk Richard Allen to and from his attorney visits, as well as on one occasion when Richard visited with his wife, always wearing these embroidered patches. For a period, Sergeant Robinson and Jones were also videotaping Richard Allen in his interaction with attorneys. This ended only upon complaint by Richard's attorneys after several visits. Additionally, Sergeant Robinson and Sergeant Jones were always close enough to Richard to be assured that Richard did not feel comfortable talking to his attorneys or his wife, without knowing that these Odinite guards were within earshot of everything he would tell his lawyers or wife. During one memorable visit on May the 4th, 2023, myself, Attorney Baldwin, and Attorney Rossi met with Richard Allen to discuss matters involving the case. At this time, Richard Allen was in a mental and physical state of deterioration and was nearly non-communicative. During the visit, Richard Allen repeatedly asked whether or not his wife was okay and his family was okay. He claimed on a couple of occasions that they were going to kill him. When asked who he was referring to as they, Richard Allen responded by saying the guys with the Odin patches. Up to this point in legal process, Richard Allen's defence team had never mentioned Odinites or Odinism to Richard Allen, either directly or indirectly. The first time I'm aware of any mention of Odinite involvement to Richard Allen was during a visit on August 25th, 2023, when Cassie Allen attended, and a discussion occurred between attorney and client regarding ties to the crime scene. So that sets the scene for us. So, let's discuss these new documents. Let's go. New court documents were filed Tuesday by both the prosecutor and defence attorneys for the man accused of murdering Abby Williams and Libby German in Delphi on the 13th of February 2017. The documents are about the defence filings outlining why they believe Abby Williams and Libby German were ritualistically sacrificed by members of a pagan Norse religion and white nationalist group called Odinism, and not by their client Richard Allen. I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite there to say Richard is not guilty. I'm not there yet. But what I do have is reasonable doubt. These defence attorneys have played a blinder by adding reasonable doubt to this case, and if they do that at the trial, I don't think there's a jury in the great state of Indiana that would categorically, unanimously say that Richard was guilty. I think at best it would be a hung jury. Alan was arrested last October, so we know all this. The case has garnered national attention since their bodies were found near the Delphi Mourning High Bridge on February 14th, 2017, a day after they went missing. In a filing last month, defence attorneys Andrew Baldwin and Bradley Rossi claimed 3 members of law enforcement investigating a possible connection to Odinists as being involved in the murders. Prosecuting attorney Nicholas McClelland later disputed those claims, saying they are colourful, dramatic and highly unprofessional, but he also said that they weren't completely true. That is the most interesting phrase to me, that these claims are not completely true. He didn't say they were wholly untrue. He said they weren't completely true. So was there just a few bits that weren't true? It's definitely starting to look that way. But both corrections officers, Jones and Robinson, have commented. They've put their own affidavits in. So let's read. According to documents filed on Tuesday, the prosecutor spoke with 2 corrections officers at the Westville Correctional Facility, where Alan is currently housed, who the defence claim have ties to Odinism. Both corrections officers reportedly denied practising Odinism, but admitted to wearing patches on their uniforms that can be, but they said were not, associated with Odinism. This is wordplay. They allege they stopped wearing the patches on their uniforms last month when they were asked to remove them by the head honcho, Gallipo, I think his name is. One of the corrections officers reportedly said that Norse pagan heathenry is his practiced religion. Both corrections officers also claimed they were not part of a cult or a radical hate group. So this is what one dude said. I've been acting supervisor in A-Pod, where the defendant is housed, since late February-March of 2023. So the defence claimed that it was about April when Richard Allen's mental health began to decline. I do not practice Odinism, and that Norse pagan heathenry is my practice religion. I do wear patches on my uniform that identify me as someone who practices Norse pagan heathenry. Started wearing the patches 6 or 7 months ago and did not stop wearing my patches until September 22nd, 2023. So 6-7 months ago from now was what? September, August, July, June, May, April, March. So around the time that Richard Allen's mental health started to decline. That's very interesting. Had you just started to become a Norse pagan, heathen, so you put your patches on, or was it specifically related to Richard Allen and sending him some kind of covert messages? Let's remind ourselves of the patches themselves. Not a problem. I hate people. That one, you wouldn't know what that one is. In Odin we trust. What's Norse pagan heathenry? What is heathenry? Okay, so the religious practice of 2 main groups of people, one historical and one modern. 1,000 or more years ago in the lands around what is now called the North Sea. They include Anglo-Saxon England, Scandinavia, Germany and Frisia, modern-day Belgium and the Netherlands. Modern heathen groups around the world are reviving these old practices with various names. Okay. All right, heathenry has once again become an official, nationally recognised religion, and there are groups of individuals working for the same level of recognition in many other countries. Heathenry is officially recognised by the Department of Defence in the United States and in the UK. The Defence Pagan Network has ensured that heathenry is recognised by the Ministry of Defence alongside other forms of paganism. Okay, so who do they worship? They recognise a large number of gods and other spiritual entities, although the heathen gods are best known from Norse mythology They are honoured by many peoples outside of Scandinavia. For example, the god known to early Germanic tribes as Wodanas became Odin in Old Norse, Woden in Anglo-Saxon, and Wotan in Old High German. He is now most commonly known as Odin. Yeah, because our days of the week are named after the Norse gods. Tuesday named after Tyr, the god of war. Wednesday after Woden, Odin. Thursday after Thor. Friday after the goddess Frigg. Interesting. There are many place names around the country, so in the UK, named for heathen gods. For example, Dewsbury is named after Tyr. Wensleydale is named after Woden. Interesting. Is their football team Sheffield Wednesday? I don't know. So these guys who are claiming not to be Odinists worship Odin. All right. According to the documents, both correctional officers said that they never threatened Alan and never had a one-to-one conversation with Alan about Odinism. They didn't need to, did they? One of the corrections officers reportedly told prosecutors he went above and beyond to not use any kind of force on Alan, even though there have been times when force was justified by standard operating procedures. Yeah, Alan was tased twice between May 9th and 25th because he did not comply with officers' orders. So I'd like to know, what was he doing? Was he attacking you? Was he attacking another inmate, even though he doesn't have contact with other inmates? Was he loud and abusive? What was he doing? That wasn't a result of his declined mental health because he feared that you were going to kill his wife and his family. I don't know. I'm just asking questions here. Because the more I know, the more I believe what the defence are saying. And that is a problem. That is a problem for Richard Allen's guilt. Okay, the prosecutor also spoke with the acting warden of the Westville Correctional Facility, who said correctional officers were allowed to wear any patches on their vests until the allegations were made by the defence team. The warden also said the facility offers religious services if there are at least 5 people who practice the religion in the complex, and the facility had never held services related to Odinism. Well, it's because they don't have, services. Or it might be that they practice on their own with their own people. Okay, the corrections officers and warden have not been arrested or charged in connection with the Delphi murder case. Therefore, they are not being identified. Well, we can identify them because they're in the memorandum. So Sergeant Jones, Sergeant Robinson, both have pictures of Odin-like things on their social media. And also, it's Warden Gallipo. Or Gallipo, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but yeah, it's in the memorandum. All right. Okay, prosecutor's response to the defence's motion to transfer Alan. Now, look, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought that it had been agreed that he could be transferred. I thought he was being transferred to Cass County. I must have got that wrong. I must have dreamt that or something, because I was sure, I was positive that it was being transferred. I don't know why I thought that, but anyway. Alan's defence team previously filed an emergency motion to move their client to a new jail in April, which was denied. I remember that. But then didn't it come out that he could be? Okay, they denied it again. All right, I'm wrong. I don't know where I've got that from. Defence attorneys filed a motion to reconsider in May, which the court denied again. The prosecutor said Alan was being treated more favourably than other inmates housed at the Westville Correctional Facility. Was he, though, more favourably? In what way was it more favourable? In what way? In what way was it? What way was it that he was getting this, dedicated attention from these 2 guys, one of them the supervisor on the wing, the ones who wore the Odinism patches, the ones that he was scared of, the ones that tased him the ones that arguably are responsible for his decline in mental health. Listen, I'm not defending Richard Allen. I'm not. I'm defending justice. They have to treat Richard Allen with respect, even if he's guilty. You cannot try a dead man. I've said this again and again and again. But the amount of reasonable doubt that's now in this case, I've got a big problem with it. I've got a really big problem with it. I really do. According to the prosecutor, Allen would be placed in the same kind of holding cell he is in now if he were to be moved to Cass County Jail. Yeah, but he wouldn't be with the Odinists that he's scared of, would he? The prosecutor also claims the Indiana Department of Correction is more equipped to transport Allen back and forth to the court dates to keep him safe and ensure he makes it to all further hearings. Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I do not believe it. Okay, so prosecutor's response to defence motion for discovery. The state believes it has turned over everything in their possession and has no objection to a discovery deadline. The state said the defence's theory that the state is intentionally withholding evidence because it's exculpatory is not true. Well, yeah, but you lied though, didn't you? You lied about the Purdue professor, didn't you? So what else are you lying about? The prosecutor also claims the defence team hasn't turned over any pieces of evidence from their investigation. According to the prosecutor, when the state filed charges against Allen, the discovery was not in a format that could easily be provided to the defence, while the prosecutor clarified as all the paper documents have been copied and scanned and that all external hard drives and reports from law enforcement had to be collected. All right. The state is asking the court to require the defence team to turn over any evidence they get and not dump all the evidence on the state on November 1st. The deadline is November 1st. He's set to go to trial in January of 2024. Jury selection is due to start on January the 8th. I really hope this goes ahead at the scheduled time because we need to know. And also, I hope that Richard Allen gets his wish for this to be televised because this is going to be a zinger. It's going to be a zinger, a big zinger. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you very soon in the next video. Bye, guys.